Hello there, it's Ukemabong again and still on our reflective narrative in this Easter Holy Week. Today is the most solemn day of the Holy Week. It's Good Friday, and it's a day that Jesus paid the ultimate sacrifice. It's a Friday to remember the day had finally come, the D-Day, not of a battle in time, but of an eternal turning point. A moment that split history, a moment that shook the earth, that shook the heavens, and that sent tremors through the corridors of hell. Heaven held its breath, earth stood in suspense, hell stirred in misguided celebration. The Father looked upon the Son, the one in whom he was well pleased, and entrusted him with the weight of the divine plan. It was time, the long-awaited hour when the broken fellowship between God and man would be restored. No angel could bear that burden, none could understand it. They looked on, awestruck, still wondering, what is man that you are so mindful of him? From Abraham to Isaiah, from Moses to David, the prophets and saints of old now beheld what they had only prophesied in part. A mystery once hidden now being revealed, though not in triumph, but in torment. The disciples, what was going on in their mind? Confused, grieving, silently hoping for a last-minute escape from Jesus. Surely he would vanish through the crowd like he did before. Surely this couldn't be the end, but this was the plan all along. In hell, uneasy laughter filled the air. Satan and his fallen cohort thought they had finally won, that if they could defeat the second Adam, the curse would never be broken. But in their ignorance, they were fueling the victory that would forever strip them of their power. What seemed like their greatest moment of triumph was in fact the stage for their greatest defeat. For if they had known, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. For Jesus, this was the ultimate test. He had borne the betrayal, the denial, the mocking, the whip, the cross. He stood in silence through false accusation, refused to defend himself before human judges, and among the crowd that mocked, beat, and shouted, "Crucify him," may have been those he had once healed fair towards. He had delivered those who had tasted of his goodness. The leper he touched, the blind he restored, the multitude he fed with loaves and fish. Those who had once followed him now turned their back, but nothing compared to what was coming, the loss of his Father's presence. Oh, he had once declared with confidence, "The Father is always with me, for I always do what pleases him." But today that would change. Today he would carry the weight of the world's sin. Today he would not only see sin, he would become sin. The Father, holy and just, would have to turn away. Jesus dreaded that moment, not the pain, not the death, but the separation. In Gethsemane, his sweats fell like drops of blood. "Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me." But even then, the Son of God chose obedience. "Yet not my will, but yours be done." And so the cross stood tall, a place of horror and glory, a place of judgment and grace. He was accused of many things, but only one charge stirred his response. "Are you the King of the Jews?" He did not deny it. Instead, he affirmed it. He said, "Rightly, you have said, but my kingdom is not of this world." He could have called the legions of angels. He could have ended it all with a word, but he didn't. He gave himself willingly, ransom for many. They tore his clothes, but between two thieves, he hung in agony, but still he loved. To one he promised paradise. To the crowd he pleaded in one final prayer, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." To his mother he gave a new son. To John a new mother. In death he restored and redefined relationships. And finally, through the excruciating pain, through the suffocating sorrow, Jesus saw the purpose fulfilled. With his final breath he declared, not defeat, but completion. It is finished. This was no Matthias death, make no mistake. He was no accident of history. This was the sacrifice of the sinless for the sinful, the holy for the unholy, the Son for the sons of men. And now, because of that Friday, the veil is torn, access is granted, the curse is broken, the throne of grace stands open. We are made kings and priests unto our God. We are sons and daughters restored. We are bold enough now to ask anything in his name. We are no longer slaves to fear, but free children of God's household. No longer strangers or foreigners, but citizens of heaven, joint heirs with Christ. Welcome into the commonwealth of God's kingdom. We've been adopted, we've been redeemed, we've been loved, and most importantly, we are a new creation. This was no ordinary Friday. This was a good Friday, a Friday to behold, a Friday to remember, a Friday that made forever possible. Hallelujah. And so I say, I wish you a great, happy Good Friday.